This is Hey Heart 143 with Natalie Tavidian. 143 means I love you. Together, we're learning to love ourselves and stay in love no matter what life throws at us. We are constantly evolving, changing, growing emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And we have to remember to check in with our own heart as we're propelled forward. When you love your own heart, you heal better, you do better, and you live a more fulfilled life. Today's episode is a guest episode with Renata Stone. She's the CEO of DLV Vision and ADV Vision. She is a force to be reckoned with, such an inspiring woman. She gives me great advice on self-love in the workplace. She has a lot of great tips on how she starts her day and how she remains both spiritual and productive and successful. She's an incredible leader. Renata was just accepted into Elite Young Presidents Organization, YPO. This is an international organization of presidents and CEOs under the age of 45. Very competitive to get into. We speak with her a little bit about that and about her time where she quit her corporate job and traveled through Europe and Asia and all over. And she talks about that experience and how she got back into the workforce. So here is Renata Stone. Renata Stone, welcome to Hey Heart 143. I'm so excited to have met you. We met in one of my favorite places in the world, San Luis Obispo. I talk about that in the podcast a lot, how I go to Central California just to find peace and clarity and then come back to the craziness of LA. So I'm so excited that I met you there. Welcome to Hey Heart 143.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I want you to talk a little bit about your business. So we connected wine tasting and talking about your business and how you got to where you got to, and you just reached this giant milestone, and you said you've been working a really long time to get into YPO. Let's start there.
Yeah, thank you. I work as the CEO of an ophthalmology business, and I started out, in business school, going to school, and just did really well in finance and math and stuff like that. And then I started working with NBC, and an ophthalmologist recruited me. So I worked with him for about 18 months, and I won a national marketing director of the year at 23.
Wow.
And so I got recruited again by a Fortune 500 LASIK company called TLC Laser Eye Centers. Was one of their top executives for 5 years in a row, climbed the ladder, worked really hard, 60, 70 hours a week while going to grad school. Won every contest there was and just did really, really well. But I found that I wasn't fulfilled. I just was working so much, and I just realized I was working my life away. So I decided to take a pause, and I quit my job. Everyone said I was crazy.
And how many years into your career were you when you did that?
I was about 6-7 years in. I'm 28 years old, and I was making quite a bit of money. And everybody said, "You're crazy. You should never leave this job. You're never going to get another job like this." And I just said, "I'm sorry, I'm going to do that." So I literally sold everything I had, got rid of my apartment, and I backpacked the world by myself for about 8 months.
Wow, where did you go?
I went everywhere. I went to all over Europe, Italy. I went to Bali, Singapore.
I love Bali.
Oh, me too. It's amazing. I love it so much.
I've been twice, and I'd go again. I love Bali.
It's so spiritual there. It's one of the spiritual vortexes in the world. But while I was there, I went to Thailand, and I went to a meditation retreat.
Okay.
And growing up, I had a pretty very childhood. My father used to beat me, and I had very strong religious stuff pushed on me. I was raised Baptist Christian, and just very rigid. Really, really judgmental, difficult upbringing. And so
is that kind of why you were so ambitious when it came to work? Was that instilled in you? This is just how you have to be?
Yeah. And I am very grateful to my family and my father for giving me that kind of push. But I had to work for everything I had. I paid my way through school. Even my mom and dad, if I want a Pantene Pro V shampoo, the pretty shampoo, they're like, great, go ahead and work for it. You can go, wash cars. And so when I was 13, I had a car washing business. Wow. And so I would go around and knock on doors with my girlfriends and ask my neighbors if they wanted a car wash. And we actually did really well. We had a pretty successful business by the end of the summer.
So entrepreneur is in your DNA.
Totally love it. But anyway, when I went to Thailand, I was an atheist. I didn't believe in religion, spirituality, nothing. So I went to this meditation retreat with a woman I was traveling with, and I was totally against it. I didn't want to go. I thought, this is ridiculous. These hippies, I don't know anything. And so I went there and I did something called transformational breath work. And
is that the 3-part breath?
Yeah, it's like fire breathing. You just don't stop, and it changed my life. I became spiritually woke.
Is that that one?
Yeah.
The 3 parts. Okay.
Well, it's actually more like...
'Cause there's different types of healing breaths.
Yeah, totally. This one is called it's like fire breath. So you go...
Okay. And it's nonstop.
It's nonstop. And
okay.
I did that for 2 hours.
Oh my goodness.
And I literally saw the light. It changed me forever.
Wow.
I'll never go back. I saw God. I forgave my father. My father and I are closer than ever.
So this was 1 2-hour session, or did you go a couple of times when you...
Just one.
Okay.
And it literally changed my life. I became a different person. And my father and I'm so grateful to him because he's taught me unconditional love. There's no one I can't love. There's no one I can't forgive. There's no one I can't accept. And it's been the most beautiful gift of my life.
How was that like reconnecting? Or did you ever lose connection with your father?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I cut him out. I was so angry at him. Mm-hmm. I had not forgiven him, and I was harboring resentment.
Did he apologize for his actions?
He did.
Okay.
I never thought he would. And I realized I need to have compassion because he was just manifesting what he experienced, right? So you can't, you have to have compassion for people.
But as a child, that's hard to understand that this is his issue, not your issue, the way he's behaving, right?
Oh, totally.
Growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I talk about it now is that I think it's really been instrumental in who I've become as a leader. Mm-hmm. I love my employees. My employees are everything to me. And my business, we have 3 pillars. Okay. My pillars are my employees, my patients, and our referring doctor network. And my philosophy in business is that what you want more of, you must give more of. So, my team is of gifting. So, when we go into a doctor's office, unlike a pharmaceutical rep, my representatives know, hey, how can we support your business? We're here to take care of you. So I love helping small business owners grow their business because we work with a referring doctor network of about 300 doctors.
Wow.
And we get to help them every day, these small business owners, grow their business and provide business consulting for them. And we don't ask for anything in return, but we get it naturally because we're giving.
I love that. I had to type that. What you want more, you must give more of.
Yeah. And my employees, I love them. I give them love. I give them kindness. I give them flexibility. I pay above market. And you know what? My employees are very happy. We won Best of Employer in 2017 out of all of the businesses in Ventura County.
What kind of leader would you say you are?
I would say I'm firm but fair and full of love. Mm-hmm. My team knows when they come to work with me, I'm like that personal trainer. I'm going to push you hard because I know inside of everyone is great excellence and great light. And my job is to elevate my team to achieve that. So I'm not going to let somebody give me second best because I know they're not second best. So if you come to my team, my employees would probably say I'm difficult because I push them hard and there's no comfort zone.
And I'm sure people get to a place where they say that they didn't know their own power, but you push them to get there.
Totally. My team hits their own career milestones. I promote from within. So there's nothing I love more than seeing my employees grow their careers with me. And we celebrate it. Like every time someone's promoted, everybody gets an email. So we're always celebrating these wins that the team has, and I absolutely love the opportunity to do that.
And how many people do you manage?
80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about how you got back into the workforce, though, after your spiritual journey and all of that.
That is so funny you ask that question because it was a very tough transition back into America, just for a lot of reasons. Because when you're in Europe, it's you walk everywhere,
Yeah.
and just the lifestyle of healthy eating, fresher foods, natural. That was a real tough acclimation for me at first.
I mean, if I just go on a 2-week vacation, I come back with this glow, and it's so hard to get back. I can't imagine being gone for 8 months and being like back to real life.
It was rough, but it's funny you asked that because guess what my first job was when I came back?
What was it?
At Kelsey Winery.
I had no
I
idea.
kid you not. I didn't want a real job.
That's where we met.
Yeah.
Shout out to Keith Kelsey.
I know, Keith Kelsey. It's funny. I knew I couldn't handle going right back into corporate.
He's just helped me make the best connections.
I know. He's amazing. I love him.
I had no idea. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Okay,
really
so you come back and you become a wine pourer on the Central Coast.
Had to calm it down.
Is that the correct term for it? Is there anything?
Yeah, I think that is. But it was pretty amazing. I mean, it was a really good transition for me.
Okay.
I got to ease back in. I was working outside, and they have those beautiful apple trees out there, so you could go pick apples.
Oh, I got so many. I still have them in my fridge.
Do you really? Yes.
Yeah, he said they're going bad. Please go get some apples.
Totally. So I go out there and just pick them and just meditate outside. It was just good. And
that's a good transition.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I decided I would have to interview the company that was interviewing me.
That's so important. So it goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was pretty well known as a national author. I am a national author. I just got another article published this month. But I had 5 or 6 companies lined up. And I went with the company that I felt was most philanthropic.
Okay.
And, my company has a charity. We have a 501c3. We do free surgery for people in need. People have cataract surgery. We do 1 free surgery a month. So I really believed in what my business partner's foundation was all about. And I chose to work with him because of that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that for people that are going that are just starting out into the workforce and how that does go both ways, choosing a company to work for? Absolutely.
I mean, life is short, we have to really think about what our life goals are and what's important, right? And so, how you spend 8 hours minimum a day at your job, and it really needs to support the greater good. Mm-hmm. For me, if a company doesn't have ethical foundation, it's not a company I'm interested in working with. And, it goes for our vendors too. I like to work with vendors that have good ethics. Like, Costco treats their employees very well. So I like to purchase our office supplies from Costco. So it's really important how you choose to invest your time. It's really limited. Mm-hmm. And, I think it's really important also to, work with a company that has alignment with your personal goals, values.
You do see that a lot. People are becoming more conscious consumers to begin with, and let alone picking a business that you're going to work for. That's so important.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, our time's our biggest asset, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a very limited resource. So we have to invest it well and, give back, because that's why we're here.
Yeah. I want you to talk a little bit about YPO. In 2019, you were accepted into YPO. This is the Young Presidents Organization, an international organization of presidents and CEOs under the age of 45. So this group you are in, you are saying you are the only woman. That's huge. That's so inspiring. So talk a bit about that.
Yeah, thank you. It was a huge career milestone for me. I was just absolutely thrilled. And I didn't know I was the only female in my chapter. Actually, I went to a talk with Paul Ryan, who I was very impressed with, and I found out that the only other female had just left the group because she was going on maternity leave, and they have specific regulations. You have to be in the working force for a certain amount of time. And so I found out that in the Golden West division, I'm the only female.
And what is the Golden West division? What areas does that include?
It includes Manhattan Beach, Santa Monica, Venice, just pretty much on the west side.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's about 50 of us, so it was pretty surprising,
Yeah, what were your reactions to finding that out?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I felt really honored, and I really want to help inspire other women to hit that kind of a goal, or become part of that organization, just because it adds such a beautiful diversity of thought, and I was so impressed with the members in my chapter, because they all want to see more females in the workforce. They were so enthusiastic about it and supportive and excited, and it just really showed me how conscious my YPO colleagues are. I was just really impressed with that, and just how accepting they were.
And this is something you had to apply for? You've been aspiring for
Yes.
a while?
Yeah, you have to apply. And it's funny because, I'm very persistent. I had to email them like almost every week to follow up. And I just decided I'm not giving up until I get into that group. Just because when you've been the CEO of the same company for 5 or 6 years, you can keep reading. I read the Wall Street Journal, I read, Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Quarterly, etc. But I felt like I was kind of plateauing a little bit. I needed to get more intellectual stimulation, and I wanted to join. I could go back to school, take some classes and more graduate school classes. But I thought, I want to learn from people that have experience, that are working in the same level that I'm working at. And I love YPO because they're all innovative, young, and I think that millennials and people at Gen X are very agile. No, I'm not saying that other people aren't, but I love, because we've had to be. I mean, technology has forced agility, like you have to be constantly moving, changing, embracing change. Technology is just, pretty much pushing that issue.
It's part of our DNA right now.
Yeah, it's important. So I liked the pace of, I like the thought of the pace that the group would bring, fast paced.
I want you to give us some tips on, so we talk about self-love on this podcast, on, self-love when it comes to body image, when it comes to your family, when it comes to the workplace. So I think the workplace and doing what feels right and continuing to love yourself while you do what you do. Some tips.
Thank you for asking. That's a great question. Yeah. So have you heard of Mindful Morning?
You told me about this. Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I live by this routine now, because I think that every day it's absolutely critical that you start your morning off loving yourself. So the first thing I do is in the morning I have a routine. So the Mindful Morning essentially is every morning you should read, meditate, journal, and exercise. Okay. And so every single morning,
those 4 things: read, meditate, journal, and exercise.
Yes. Yeah, that's ultimate loving yourself, right?
And you fit this into your schedule every single day?
Every day. I do not miss.
That's incredible.
It centers me.
How so? Describe it.
It's just absolutely, the first thing I do is I stretch, and I just breathe in, the day, and love into my body.
And you start your day really early.
I do. Yeah, 4:45, 5 a.m. at the latest usually.
Wow.
Yeah. Every think about it. If you wake up an hour early every day, that's a lot of time you're going to add to your life, and it's impactful. I mean,
and you're not rushing out the door. You're not stressing out. You're taking care of yourself before your workday starts.
Yeah, you got to love yourself. I mean, how can I possibly... You can't give something you don't have. If I don't have love for myself, I can't give it to my employees. I can't give it to my partner. I can't give it to my family. So you just can't give something you don't have. So you got to love yourself first. So I take care of myself every morning. I literally will stretch. I'll meditate outside. I live on the beach, and I'll breathe in the ocean's energy into my body. And I'll go for exercise. I'm a triathlete, so I'll run, bike, or swim for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I journals. I just do a quick journal. I use a journal actually called the High Performance Planner. Okay. And it's a very different kind of a planner. I definitely recommend it. But it talks about, it forces you to think about your day in a different way. So the High Performance Planner, basically, some of the things that are in it are how could I demonstrate excellence to my team today? And you have to write down what you would do. Or who's somebody I could surprise with a note or a gift or a thank you.
I love that.
And, how could I be more mindful today? One word to describe yourself today. And so I'll fill that out every day, and it really makes you think about bigger picture stuff.
It seems like such a great way to just not get complacent with your life.
Totally. Yeah. And you list out your goals for the day. What am I going to achieve today? That way, before the end of the day, I can see what I've achieved and make sure I've gotten everything done that's important for me.
It's called the High Performance Planner.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you do gratitude journals too, or do you?
Absolutely. I'm a big Esther Hicks fan. And she talks about going on like a rampage of appreciation. So sometimes if I'm, frustrated with somebody, or I'm, maybe I'm upset with someone, I'll start journaling about all the things I appreciate about them. Like my partner, here's what I really appreciate about you. And it just changes your mind right away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to focus on the positive.
Totally.
And what else did you say? The 4 things? Reading as well.
Yeah, reading.
Yeah.
It stimulates mind, body, spirit, right? Because you got to keep your mind healthy too, and reading is integral to that.
Yeah. And so it seems like you focused on the science brain, but you also have the creative and the fun and the meditating and all that. Did that come after all your travels? Because you majored in business and finance, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Meditating definitely after traveling. I never meditated before. But I've always had a lot of fun. I go to Burning Man every year, and I like to do creative things. I like to always question my beliefs and and push myself.
So would you say you're very spiritual now after that trip?
100%.
Yeah.
Very spiritual. I love God, energy, consciousness, whatever you want to call the universe.
Yeah.
I think it's all the same
Whatever
thing.
you want to label it. Yeah. All right, Renata, thank you so much for coming on Hey Heart 143. How can people find you? Social media, website, anything like that?
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn, Renata Stone, and Facebook.
Renata Stone, Facebook.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope you can come back on someday.
Oh my gosh, me too. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'll have all the show notes on heyheart143.com and the links to Renata's Facebook and LinkedIn pages. See you guys next time. Thanks again, Renata, for being here, and thank you all for tuning in and spending some time with us today. If you feel compelled to do so, please head over to iTunes, rate and review this episode so more people could hear inspiring stories. 143 means I love you. Tell your own heart I love you.